Dear friends, this is the lecture number 3 of electromagnetic induction. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about rotational EMF and motional EMF. But in this lecture, what we will discuss? I'll tell you, but before that, let's analyze one small experiment. Let's do analysis on a small experiment. So here is a simple circuit. One coil is connected. This is a coil. One coil is connected to DC source with a key. This is the key. This is the DC source. What do you mean by DC source? Direct current source. Which can be a direct current source? A simple cell. A simple cell available in market that can be a direct current source. Direct current means, you know that in current electricity chapter, direct current, the current which is always constant. Constant in magnitude as well as in direction. This is the positive terminal, this is the negative terminal, and this current is constant. Suppose 10 ampere current is passing through the circuit, means always a 10 ampere current pass. So when this source is connected, so what happens here? This source provides a constant current in this circuit. But how we get the current? We have to do switch on. So first let's do switch on. So first step, switch on. Then what happens? Let's discuss. When switch is on, then current suddenly becomes constant? No. What will happen then here? Before switch on, what was the current in this circuit? Zero current. Current in the circuit was zero. This source provides you constant current. Suppose that constant current is 10 ampere. Suppose the constant current what this cell provides, suppose that is 10 ampere. But initial current was 0 ampere. Now it will be how much? 10 ampere. Then the current remains constant. But suddenly when the switch is on, current suddenly become 10 ampere. It was 0. Current suddenly becomes 10 ampere. Is it possible? No. Most that current increase from 0 to 10. Most that current increase from 0 to 10. Then you may ask the question, 0 to 10, the current was 0 to be 10 ampere. Sir, how much time it will take? It will take very small time, some nanosecond time it will take. Sir, why are you thinking about that? No. We'll discuss that small interval of time that may be nanosecond, but we'll discuss what physics is behind that nanosecond. What physics happens within that nanosecond? Which nanosecond? When switch is on, the current increase from 0 to its maximum constant value. Suppose it was 0, now it will become 10. Suppose the constant current which passed through this circuit, suppose 10 ampere. To be from 0 to 10, it takes some nanosecond, maybe nanosecond, but we will discuss what happens within that small interval of time. What physics is there in this small interval of time when the current growth happens from 0 ampere to 10 ampere. So now let's discuss. When switch is on, the next step is current increases. And you know, when current passes through this solenoid, through this coil, it behaves like a magnet. It produces its magnetic field. What is the magnetic field formula? B is equal to mu naught Ni. I is current, mu naught is the permeability of a vacuum, and N is the number of turns per unit length. You know this expression in electromagnetism chapter. When current increases here, it behaves, when current passes, it behaves like a magnet. But when current increases, what happens to its magnetic field? Its magnetic field increases. Next step is magnetic field increases. Its magnetic field increases when current increases. Magnetic field means it provides lines of forces here. Here also lines of forces are present. its own lines of forces. These lines of forces are not of any other magnet. Its self lines of forces, its own lines of forces. And its own lines of forces are linked with its own surface area. Its own lines of forces are linked with its own surface area. Flux is linked or not? Yes. You may ask the question, so what flux? Its own lines of forces. Then what happened? If its own lines of forces, then also no problem. Its own magnetic lines of forces are linked with its own area of cross section. So flux is linked with this coil. When magnetic field increases, what happens to the flux? Flux formula you know, phi is equal to BA cos theta, and here it is BA. Because this theta is 0. Magnetic field is perpendicular to area of cross section, as well as areal vector is also perpendicular to area of cross section. So flux is equal to BA. Here it is 0, angle is 0. When magnetic field increases, what happens to this flux? What happens to this flux? Flux increases. Its own flux linked with itself. Now that flux linked with itself now increases. When flux increases, immediately Faraday comes with his first law. Whenever there is change in flux, EMF is induced. So EMF is induced. Now Faraday comes with the first law. Here in this coil, EMF is induced. Now are you getting astonished that here is one EMF? How EMF is induced here? Yes, we saw that. One EMF is induced in the coil. We observe that one now. The EMF which is induced in the coil, this is not this EMF, this is the applied EMF. But another EMF is induced in the coil due to change in magnetic flux linked with the coil. Due to change in the magnetic flux linked with the coil, we observe that another EMF is induced here. So it's clear? When current change happens in this coil, then one EMF is induced in the coil. Whenever current change happens. Now, what happened? When EMF is induced here, now Lenz comes. Lenz now comes. What Lenz told? Induced EMF opposes its cause. So this induced EMF now opposes its cause. Its cause is what? Its cause is this one, this step. Its very cause is this step. We can't say switch on. Okay, so its very cause is the current increase. Increase in current. So what according to Lenz will happen here? This induced EMF will oppose the increase of a current. Oppose means how it will oppose the increase of a current. Current increase from 0 to 10 ampere, 0 to maximum value. How it will oppose the increase of current? It will not allow the current to increase easily. It will not allow the current to increase easily from 0 to 10 ampere. That means, I am again explaining you clearly. Suppose 0 to 10 ampere this current will increase. Suppose no coil is there. If no coil is there, here simple resistor will be here. Or simple conductor is here. No coil is there. If no coil, the current initially takes suppose 2 nanosecond. 2 nanosecond the current takes to increase from 0 to its maximum value. After that it remains constant. But now if a coil is connected in the circuit, EMF is induced, and that induced EMF opposes the increase in current, and that current to increase from 0 to 10 ampere takes 10 nanosecond. The current which initially take 2 nanosecond, when the coil is connected in the circuit, the same current will take 10 nanosecond. Why? Because the induced EMF opposes the increase in current. will not allow the current to increase easily. To increase to its maximum value, it takes more time. So now let's discuss what happens when this current increases from 0 to 10 ampere and becomes constant in the circuit. Now constant 0 to 10 ampere it increase. After some nanosecond, now the current becomes constant in circuit. If current is constant in circuit, now what will happen? What will happen, you will see. Current is constant. After some time of switch on, so this is constant. So this is constant. Magnetic field also constant. Flux is also constant. What is the induced EMF? 0. No EMF is induced. No EMF is induced. Why EMF will induce? Because flux is constant. Farad will not come. So no EMF is induced. Okay. So now let's see what happens when the switch is off. Suppose instead of on, now switch is off. Now constant current flow for some time, then switch is off. Now you off the switch. If the switch is off, what about the current? Current now decrease. Current decrease from 10 to 0. 10 ampere current now is passing through the wire. When switch is off, current takes some time to decrease from 10 to 0. Some time, again that may be nanosecond, but I told you we will discuss what physics is behind that nanosecond. Okay, so current decrease. When current decrease, what about magnetic field? Also decrease. What about the flux? Also decrease. What about EMF induced? Yes, induced. Because Faraday told flux may increase or decrease. Doesn't matter. Faraday didn't tell that current increase or decrease. Faraday told that current change. Change should be there. Increase, decrease doesn't matter for Faraday's law. Current flux change should be there. Flux change should be there. So now again EMF is induced. And that induced EMF will oppose what? The decrease of current. The decrease of a current is this cause, it will oppose this cause. Decrease of current means will not allow the current to decrease easily. From the maximum value to become 0, that current will take more time in comparison to the absence of the coil. When the coil is absent, coil is not here, coil is not connected in the circuit, the current immediately becomes 0 from maximum to 0. Current immediately comes to 0. But if the coil is connected, it takes some time to become 0. Because coil opposes the decrease in current. By inducing EMF inside it, which EMF is induced here, that opposes means coil opposes. We will understand coil opposes the decrease of current. So now let's come. When current increases, coil opposes. When current decreases, also coil opposes. What is this? So that means current don't want, that means coil don't want. Coil don't want to change the current which passes through it. Coil don't want that to change the current which passes through it. This is the property of every coil. This is the property of every coil, and the property is called as self-induction. What is our topic? That is the self-induction. This is the property of every coil. And the coil is called as an inductor. Coil is called as inductor, and this property is called as self-induction. So now I will tell you the definition of self-induction. What is self-induction? It is the property of a coil by virtue of which it opposes the change in current passes through it. If current is increasing, coil will tell don't increase. If current is decreasing, then coil will tell don't decrease. Will not allow to increase, will not allow to decrease. This is the property of every coil by virtue of which it opposes the change in current passes through it. Coil don't want to increase or decrease of current. Don't want means unwillingness. Coil has the unwillingness not to change the current which passes through it. Have you heard any unwillingness type of a property in class 11th? You just recall class 11th. Any unwillingness type of property? Can you able to recall what you are reading in class 11th? The unwillingness property in motion chapter. Okay, you are correct if you are thinking the answer inertia. Inertia for rest. If a body is at rest, then it has a tendency to be at rest. If the body is in motion, it has a tendency to be in motion. If the body is moving in a particular direction, it has the tendency to move in a particular direction. Inertia property, inertia of rest, inertia of motion, inertia of direction. And what is this called? This is also inertia. Same thing. The coil don't want to change the current which passes through it. This is also inertia, but this is called inertia, electric inertia. This is called electric inertia. In exam question will come, which property of the coil is electric inertia? What is the answer? Self-induction. Dash property of the coil is electric inertia? Self-induction. This is the property of a coil. And I told this device, this coil, which oppose the current, increase and decrease of the current, it oppose, is called as an inductor. The device is called as an inductor. This device. Have you any name of any device ending with or? Have you heard the name of any device ending with or? Yes. From the second chapter you know the device capacitor. Then you know the device resistor. The next device is resistor. So you have heard another two devices ending with or. You see, there is some similarity. Or, here or. So I will tell them as they are the cousins. They are the brothers and sisters. They are the brothers and sisters, just like you also name the brothers and sisters. If 2 or 3 are there, also their names given like that, so that the last letter will be same. Same thing. Inductor, resistor, capacitor. They are the brothers and sisters. And I will tell you, resistor is a brother, and inductor and a capacitor are sisters. There is much more similarity between inductor and a capacitor, but resistor is little different from them. So these are the 3 circuit elements of electrical circuit. 3 circuit elements. By these 3 circuit elements, all electrical circuits are made in your house or anywhere. Electrical circuits I am telling to you. What are these 3? Resistor, capacitor and inductor. So you clearly understood resistor in current. You understood capacitor also in the second chapter. And inductor today, I introduced the inductor to you. This is the inductor device. So now your 3 circuit elements you completely understood. So this is about the inductor now. So let's come to the mathematical part of this. The flux linked with the coil, phi. What flux is linked with this coil? That they are directly proportional to current passes through it. How much current is passing through it? Phi proportional to I. So one constant I will multiply. That phi is equal to Li. Where L is equal to phi by I is equal to one constant. It's a constant for a particular coil. What is this constant called? Coefficient of self-induction, or simply it is called as self-inductance. Self-inductance, or simple also called as inductance. Simply you can tell capital L as inductance, the constant for a particular coil. Come here. In inductor, I told you the constant is inductance. In capacitor, what was the constant? What was the constant in capacitor? Capacitance. What is the constant in resistor? Resistance. I have told you. They are the brothers and sisters. Many more things will come similar between these three. It's constant, you see, resistance, capacitor, capacitance, inductor, inductance. Also, these names are completely similar. They are constants. They are the constant values of these three circuit elements. They are also ended with ans, NC, ans, inductance, resistance, capacitance. So this is the inductance, which is constant for this inductor. Now we take it as inductor. Then what is the definition of this self-inductance? In exam question come define self-inductance. So definition of self-inductance is it is the ratio of flux linked with the coil per unit current. See, it is the ratio of flux linked with the coil per unit current. This is the definition of self-inductance. But in exam when question comes, I told you two definitions. When the exam in the question comes, students get confused. The definition of self-induction, definition of self-inductance, between these two confusion comes. Students can't able to differentiate what is self-induction, what is self-inductance. But hope you will not do that mistake. Self-induction means it is the property of the coil, by virtue of which it opposes the change in current passes through it. But self-inductance means it is the constant of the coil. Self-inductance, clearly try to understand induction, inductance. Don't do this mistake in exam, because many students do this mistake and get 0 mark in the examination. Self-inductance means it's the ratio of a flux linked for unit current. Then what is this SI unit? This is Weber. Flux is Weber and I is ampere. So Weber per ampere, that is Henry. After the name of the scientist, Henry. This is Henry. H is the symbol, capital H. Then what is the CGS unit? It is Maxwell. It is Ab ampere. Electromagnetism chapter is going on. So this is Ab ampere. This is Ab Henry. Ab Henry. But 1 Henry is equal to dash Ab Henry. Now let's do 1 Henry is equal to dash Ab Henry. It's very simple. 1 Henry is equal to 1 Weber by 1 ampere. 1 Weber is 10 to the power 8 Maxwell. And 1 ampere is 1 by 10 Ab ampere. So this is coming 10 to the power 9 Maxwell by Ab ampere is Ab Henry. 1 Henry is equal to 10 to the power 9 Ab Henry. So now we got the idea about inductance. But how much EMF is induced in the coil? How much EMF is here induced in the coil? How will you find the EMF induced? By the help of Faraday's second law. Faraday's second law provides us the value of EMF induced is equal to minus d phi by dt. So minus d by dt, in place of this you write Li, in place of phi write Li, L is constant, so di by dt. So this is the induced EMF in the inductor when current changes in this is di in time dt. You have to remember this formula to solve the numericals. If the current change is given from this ampere to this ampere within time this, then you can able to easily find the induced EMF if the constant L is given. You have to remember this formula. But from this formula, we can also bring definition of a Henry, 1 Henry definition. How we bring the 1 Henry definition? You see, from this now, E mod, I am taking mod here to remove the minus sign. E mod is equal to L di by dt. So L is equal to E mod divided by di by dt. Di by dt. So if this L is 1 Henry, this is how much? Is 1 volt. Di by dt is 1 ampere per second. This is 1 ampere per second. So what is the definition of 1 Henry? 1 Henry is the self-inductance of a coil if EMF induced is 1 volt, when change in current is, when rate of change of a current is 1 ampere per second. Again I repeat, 1 Henry is the self-inductance of the coil if EMF induced is 1 volt, when rate of change of current is 1 ampere per second. You can write also definition of 1 Henry from this expression. So this is the EMF induced in the coil. But now we find the expression of self-inductance of a solenoid. Solenoid is the coil, so we will find the expression of self-inductance of a solenoid. So this is the solenoid. You know, solenoid, it is owned in the form of one helix. Okay, this is the solenoid. So now let's try to first write the constants. What constant we will use here? Small n. This is the number of turns per unit length. If the length of the solenoid is L, total turn is capital N, then small n is equal to capital N by L. Number of turns per unit length. Then what are the constant we choose here? R. R is equal to radius of the solenoid. Let's take R is equal to radius of the solenoid and small n is equal to number of turns per unit length. When current I passes through this solenoid at any instant. I am telling at any instant because current change. Whenever current changes, then it shows its action. So let's take I. I is equal to, when I is equal to current passes through this solenoid, what is the magnetic field? Magnetic field B is equal to mu naught Ni. So mu naught Ni by L. Mu naught Ni by L, in place of small n I wrote here N by L. Okay, so then what is the flux linked with this? Flux linked phi is equal to, here B A cos 0. But this is the flux linked with one coil. This is the flux linked with only one coil, but there are many turns are there. If for the whole turn I will add the flux link, I have to multiply one n here. What is the flux linked with the coil? With the coil means total number of turns matter. Total number of turns into BA. Cos 0, I have told you earlier, magnetic field and area vector both are in same direction, perpendicular to the area of a cross section. So total number of turns into BA. BA is the flux linked with each coil and N is the total number of turns. Okay, so now N, in place of B you write mu naught Ni by L and A you write pi r square. But what is the formula phi? Phi is equal to Li. As phi is Li, so Ia now cancel. From both sides now Ia cancel. What is the value of L you got? Mu naught N square pi r square divided by L. This is the self-inductance of the inductor or solenoid. But if the core of the solenoid is taken any material having relative permeability mu r, this is the expression when it is air medium or vacuum. But if it contains any material, now what happens to this expression? So this L become mu naught mu r N square pi r square by L. If it contains any material of relative magnetic permeability mu r. Mu r is the relative magnetic permeability of the material. And always we choose which type of material? Ferromagnetic substance. If we take ferromagnetic substance, mu r is very greater than 1. So self-inductance will increase. If you want more self-inductance, you choose a material, ferromagnetic material, as core of the solenoid. So this is the expression of self-inductance of the solenoid. But this self-inductance depends on which factors? In exam question comes, this self-inductance depends on which factors? First, it depends on the material, core material. Depends on core material, whether it is vacuum or any ferromagnetic substance. Also depends on N. N means total number of turns. So that means that I will tell number of turns per unit length. That depends on, in a particular length, how many turns are there. More is the number of turns, more is the self-inductance. So you can write, it depends on number of turns per unit length. Then also it depends on the radius, the area of cross section. Area of cross section. But this point number 3, we have to think to increase, because the inductor becomes bulky if we increase the area of cross section. Okay, whatever it may be, but self-inductance increases taking a ferromagnetic substance core and by increasing the total number of turns in a particular length. So this is the self-inductance of a solenoid, which comes as a 3 marks derivation in exam. 3 marks derivation in exam. So now let's see. Next part is energy stored in inductor. Energy stored in inductor. This is also 1 3 marks derivation. Why energy is stored in inductor? When energy is stored in a substance? When? I have told you many times this fact. Whenever some work is done against a force, then the work done is stored in the form of potential energy. Suppose this one, I will take from this position to this position. Then I did some work. My work done is stored in this as potential energy, and how much work I did, that is stored in this as potential energy. Here work is done against which force? Against the gravitational force. Hence the potential energy which is stored is gravitational potential energy. The same thing also you have done in capacitor. In capacitor you have also done some work. Not you. Cell did the work. Cell did the work to send the charges to the plates of the capacitor against electric force. There also energy stored. Electric potential energy. Here what happened? Here what work is done against what? Now let's see. When the coil is connected, I told you, and this is the applied EMF, and at the time of switch on or at the time of switch off, when one EMF is induced here, when that EMF is induced here at the time of switch on and switch off, that induced EMF opposes the growth in current, opposes the current to increase from 0 ampere to its maximum value, to maximum constant value. This induced EMF, what EMF is induced here? What EMF is induced here that opposes the increase in current? Means will not allow the current to increase. That means current will not increase. This EMF induced opposes the current not to increase. That means current will not increase. Current will increase. But who will increase the current? This source will increase the current. The source will do the work against the opposition. The source will increase the current to its maximum value working against the opposition, and the work is done against the opposition. Means energy is stored in the form of potential energy, and this is which potential energy? Magnetic potential energy, because here everything is done in magnetic field. Magnetic potential energy. Where it is stored? In the core of the solenoid. In which form? Magnetic potential energy, magnetic field form. Same thing I think also happened in capacitor. In capacitor, which energy is stored? Electric potential energy. In which form? In the form of electric field. Where it is stored? Between the two plates of the capacitor, and here in the core of the solenoid. So we can write the line here amount of work done to overcome the opposition, the amount of work done to overcome the opposition of the coil is stored in the form of magnetic potential energy in the core of the solenoid. Listen the statement, listen the sentence properly. The amount of work done against the opposition is stored in the form of magnetic potential energy in the core of the solenoid. Let's see how much potential energy is stored here. Let's see. The EMF induced E is equal to minus L di by dt. We have already derived it. Then this source which work against the opposition, if the induced EMF is this much, also the applied EMF, how much EMF is applied to overcome this opposition? Applied EMF must be equal and opposite to induced EMF, because it overcomes this opposition. It has to be, applied EMF should be equal and opposite to induced EMF. So this is the applied EMF, this is the induced EMF. So minus L di by dt. So now it is L di by dt. So this is the applied EMF. If this much EMF we apply to overcome the opposition, then how much power is delivered? What is the formula of power? How much power we deliver here? Power P is equal to E dash I. Power P is equal to EI, voltage into current. Okay. This power we can write rate of change of work, and E dash is L di by dt into I. So dt we can cancel from both sides. So what we get here? dW is equal to Li di. Then how much total work is done to increase the current from 0 ampere to I ampere to its maximum value? So now let's integrate both sides. Integrating both sides, dW integration 0 to W, Li di integration 0 to I. Li di integration 0 to I. Then what is the integration dW? This is W, and here L constant. I di integration is I square by 2. So it becomes, limit is 0 to I. So it is half L I square. So this is the work done. This is the work done by the applied EMF to overcome the opposition. And I told you how much work is done is stored in the form of magnetic potential energy. This work done is stored here in the form of magnetic potential energy. So how much is the magnetic potential energy? Amount of work done? Half Li square. This is the magnetic potential energy. Okay. So this magnetic potential energy is stored in this inductor. Is this expression similar to some expression you already know earlier in capacitor? Capacitor, what is electric potential energy stored in capacitor? Half CV square, half Li square. There is also similarity in name, similarity in constant, similarity also in formula, also similarity. Yes. For that I told the capacitor and inductor, they are just two sisters. They are just two sisters. One is ruling in electricity, another one is ruling in magnetism. They are just two sisters. Then the question is coming to your mind, sir, why you are leaving resistor? But resistor is not like them. Resistor is the device which doesn't store any energy. Resistor only dissipate energy. For that I told that's just like brother, different from them. That dissipate energy. How much energy you give, that only dissipate the energy. No chance of storing energy. Okay, so these two expressions are almost similar. You see half CL, inductance, capacitance here, V square is I square. So next we will not forget to find energy density. How much is the energy density here? Let's do energy density. Energy density is total energy stored divided by volume. How much is the total energy stored? That is half Li square. What is the volume? As it is cylinder, it is a cylindrical shape. I write pi r square L is the volume. Cylinder volume formula. So here half L, you put L mu naught n square pi r square by L. This is the expression of self inductance. And this I, let's do one thing, bring the I from this expression. I is mu naught Ni by L. Then what is I? I is equal to BL by mu naught N, its square, divided by pi r square. If you cut the quantities, at last you will get half B square by mu naught. This is the energy stored, energy density. Energy density of the inductor half B square by mu naught. Are you thinking to compare this energy density expression with the capacitor energy density expression? Okay, let's also do that one. Capacitor energy density expression is half epsilon naught E square. Are they similar? Yes, obviously they will be similar. You see, half. Here electric field square, here magnetic field square. And you know about epsilon naught, mu naught. If epsilon naught is the numerator, mu naught will be in the denominator. Okay, from the starting they are behaving like that. Okay, so energy density expressions are also same. So this is about the energy stored in inductor as well as the energy density of inductor. But what questions today we discuss about the self induction? What questions generally comes in exam? So let's discuss some questions. One question comes in 2020 board examination, that draw the graph between EMF induced and di by dt in an inductor. In an inductor, draw the graph. Okay, the question is like this. What is the formula? E equal to minus L di by dt. Minus L di by dt. Okay, so how E depends on di by dt? It's very clear. L is constant. As L is constant, is very clear. They are directly proportional to each other. If directly proportional, then the graph will be straight line passing through origin. But the problem is it's minus. Problem is in minus. When di by dt is positive, then EMF is negative. When di by dt is positive, EMF is negative. So how the graph will be? This graph will be like this. Graph will be like this. Graph will be in the negative axis. When di by dt is positive, this induced EMF will be in negative but directly proportional. So this is one question. Another question also I want to tell you. Another question sometimes comes in exam. This self-induction, you also all have realized this self-induction. Sometimes when you do the switch off, sparking happens. Have you realized it? Almost all have realized it. Sometimes when you do switch off, sparking happens, spark happens there. Why? Pause the video and think the answer. Then after thinking the answer correctly, may be wrong, doesn't matter, but again you play the video and listen my answer what I am telling. When you switch off, suddenly circuit breaks there. You break the circuit. When the circuit breaks, suddenly what happens? Current immediate comes to zero. When current immediate comes to zero, self-induction property. Due to self-induction property, EMF is induced there. When current switch is off, current breaks there or circuit break. So current suddenly comes to zero and EMF is induced. And that induced EMF will not allow the current to come to zero. So current will not come to zero easily, but you have already broken the circuit here. Here circuit you have broken, no connection between the wires, no connection at the switch. But current is there in the circuit, but you cut the connection. Then what happens in that phase? So from one terminal to the other terminal where you broke the circuit inside the switch, now current moves in air. Dielectric breakdown happens between the 2 points and current moves in air. So sparking happens there. Sparking happens. Dielectric breakdown happens. The air converts into conductor and current passes one point to another point. In exam, if the question will come, you can write when switch is off, circuit suddenly breaks and the current immediately returns to zero. Due to this, EMF is induced. And that induced EMF will not allow the current to decrease easily. Hence, sparking happens. Another question also, which is very important. Many times also that question comes in exam. The question is like this. That one bulb is connected here. One bulb is connected to one AC source. And one inductor with one bulb is connected to one AC source. One important thing I forgot to tell you, that when this is connected to inductor shows its action of opposition at the time of switch on and switch off. At the time of switch on and switch off, it shows its action. But in between inductor is inactive. When this is connected, only inductor oppose at the time of switch on and switch off, because at that time current increase and decrease only at the time of switch on and off. But in between, when current is constant, then no role, inductor has no role. Inductor behaves like a conductor. Inductor has no role, it loses its property. Nothing happens there because current is constant. To what it will oppose? But if we replace this DC source by AC source, AC means alternating current which always changes. Alternating current which always changes magnitude, increase, decrease, always happens. As current always increase, decrease, this inductor always opposes. Inductor becomes always active. That means when this is connected, inductor is active at the time of switch on and switch off. But when AC is connected, inductor is always active. Inductor is always active when AC is connected. That means this inductor is one AC device. When in alternating current this inductor is connected, then it shows its role throughout the time. Always it shows its role. But if this is connected only at the time of switch on and switch off. So I have connected AC here. Means inductor is always active. Okay, no problem. No matter of switch on and switch off. Always it is active. So my question is, if this is bulb A, this is bulb B. If both switches will on at same time, which bulb will glow fast? Which bulb glow fast? If the both, one is connected with inductor, one is just connected like this, and at same time do switch on, then which bulb will go fast? This bulb B, bulb A, or bulb B? Pause the video and think the answer. Which bulb will grow fast? Then now you play the video and see answer. Which bulb will go fast here? What answer you have written? If you have written bulb A, then you are correct. Bulb A glows fast. Why? Because bulb B, current cannot increase easily because inductor is there. Inductor will not allow the current to increase easily. The inductor will not allow the current to increase easily, so this bulb will glow in late. So this is the answer, bulb A. If again the question will be asked that which bulb switch off fast? When you switch off the two circuits, at same time you switch off the two circuits, then which glow will first go? Which bulb will glow for a long time? Question is now, which bulb will glow for a long time? For long time will show delay to be off. Which bulb? bulb A or bulb B? Switch is off. Then which bulb will glow still or up to late time? Which bulb? Answer is, think the answer. Pause the video and think the answer. Then you say the answer. So answer is bulb B. Bulb B will still glow even if after switch off. Even if after switch off, bulb B will still glow for some time, maybe fraction of second, but bulb B will glow for some time. Why? Because the inductor will not allow the current to be zero. To be zero, inductor will not allow the current to be zero easily. When this applied EMF is zero, still EMF is present there and will help the bulb to glow for some time. So this EMF what is induced in the inductor, that is also called back EMF. Remember, that is also called back EMF. Why? Because applied EMF is gone. Applied EMF is over. We used to do the switch off, but still EMF is there. And maintain the glowing of the bulb B for some time. This bulb B will still glow even if after switch off due to back EMF. You can write due to back EMF. So today we discuss about self-induction. Thank you.